Hello friends, welcome to my channel. In our last chapter, what we learned was how to recognize the image through GenAI. Today what we'll be learning is how to convert an audio into text. Why do we need to convert an audio into text? So think like a situation where we are going to or we are trying to build an AI agent where in WhatsApp or in chat people instead of typing they will do a voiceover. So they will pass a voice which will become as an audio, and in our uh, AI agent we need to actually transform into text, and then based on that text we can do rest of the work. So just to do that part, to convert an audio into text, we need this kind of programming. There are different ways to do that. So if you see my screen now, I have done it through three different methods. For today's video, I'll be only explaining this particular method where I'm using the Whisper. This is basically OpenAI Whisper model. We'll be using OpenAI Whisper model to convert audio into a text. And in next video, probably we'll do Assembly AI and then Sphinx API, these two. But for today's video, let's go into this particular method. So let's start from OpenAI. So first of all, we need to create an API key because we are going to interact with OpenAI programmatically. So if you have uh, already seen my video, then you know. If you haven't seen my videos, means past videos, please go check my past videos where I have explained how to use the API keys and what are API keys and how to create them and all. Uh, so to create an API key, you first need to log in into OpenAI. You first need to register, and you need to give your credit card informations. Probably you need to fill up $5 so that you can access their APIs. Once you are inside OpenAI, come here in API key, create a new API, new secret key. You give a name, you choose a project. You can create your project here and then create a secret key that will create an API key. For the first time, it will allow you to access the secret key, so you can copy it, and then once you copy it, put it in your application properties. So this is a Spring Boot project. So I have an application.properties. You might have an application.yml, and you can put that uh, secret key here like spring.api OpenAI key, and then that's it for OpenAI API key. Once you have that OpenAI API key, let's see, like, how we are doing it in programmatically, right? So first of all, I'm showing the same project which I'm continuing in every episode. So I'm growing this project bit by bit with new implementations. So first thing is you need a Spring Boot project. So this is my Spring Boot project, where for this implementation we need basically this is a code dependency we need for Spring Boot Web. This is a Spring Boot Web dependency. This is what you need. You can have these two dependencies, but it's not absolutely needed. These are good to have dependencies: Spring Boot dev tool and starter test. Next, you need this dependency, Spring AI. Spring AI is for Spring AI and OpenAI integration, this particular dependency. Apart from that, we will need this one, this service, OpenAI service dependency. So this is the dependency through which we'll be calling OpenAI. So we need this dependency, and then second dependency we need is this dependency, which is Spring AI dependency. Now once you add these two dependencies in your pom.xml, in application.properties, as I showed, we need to add that secret key to connect, means basically this is the API key for OpenAI. And then we are using the same controller. So this is the AI controller I have written inside the controller. Here, this is the method. This is the endpoint I have used. API v1 audio to text through Whisper. Why audio to text through Whisper? Because we are using a Whisper as a model. So this is a model in OpenAI, LLM model, which will help us to convert our audio into text. So basically we'll be doing nothing but just call this model and convert my audio into text. So let's see what's there inside the method. So this is the method where we are passing a path, which is as a string we are passing the path where the audio file is there. So that's what we have to pass. Then we are calling the service. This is basically, this is coming from that service dependency, which is here. This one, where is it? Yep, this dependency. So this dependency is, means using that dependency we are getting the service. So what we need to pass, we need to pass that API key. API key we got it from application.properties, that value. So we are passing that value as an argument, that API key, so it will generate the service. Then we are creating a request. This is an empty request, and then inside the request we are passing the model. So we are using Whisper 1, so we are passing Whisper 1 as a model. Then file, this file we are creating from that path variable. So what we are passing as the file path, we are transforming it into a file. Instead of passing a path, you can directly pass a file. Then the implementation will be little different. Instead of path, you just can access as a file. Now once we have the file, what we are doing it, we are passing, basically we are not using that file. Okay, so this is not needed actually. So I created a file but I haven't implemented it. So basically we don't need this line. So what we have done here, if you see, I have used the path variable, means I've used the string file path. So this request I have passed inside the service.create transcription. So this service.create transcription is calling that service and converting that audio into text. So we are passing that request and we are passing that file path, and then we are converting into get text. So whatever is it's returning, I'm doing a get text and returning here as a transcription, and then returning to the calling method. Let's go inside the service create transcription method. So this is not our implementation. This is basically from that OpenAI implementation. So this is inside that OpenAI service class, and where we are passing that request and audio file path. So it is basically converting it into a file, and that's why I passed the path, because it's accept a path, not a file. Else we could create, or we could call this method. Instead of calling create transcription, we could call create transcription, this method. Then we could pass the file instead of the path. So there are two implementation. Basically this implementation itself is calling the second implementation. If you see here, from that audio path it has created the audio file, and then it's called this method where it's passed the request and then the audio file itself. And this method is basically doing everything. It's using a builder, then it's adding that model which we passed as part of the request. Is as part of this request we have passed the model, if you've seen here, right? Sorry, here. So it's now using that model, and then it's using that file, and then it's using this prompt. Basically we don't need to pass a prompt. There is a default prompt. So it's that request has a default prompt, so it's using that prompt, or maybe basically it will be an empty prompt. Response format, temperature, language, it will get set, and then it will call this api.create transcription and execute that and return that as a text. But we need not to worry about this implementation because this is not our implementation. I just try to explain the OpenAI service implementation. Basically, we are going to call this method of the service, OpenAI service. So we are basically creating a service by passing the API key, then creating a request, create transcription request, and then we are calling that service create transcription and passing that request and the file path. That's it. And then it will be returning that transcription. So this is the implementation. There is nothing much in it, but let's create a audio file first of all. To create a audio file, you can download any sample file from internet. I have this software called Balaboka. It can generate a audio file using a text. So let me open this software and create an audio file for me. So this is that Balaboka, and then I have this one as a text. So I'll put the text here and I will ask it to create an audio file. So save audio file. I'll say test.mp3. It will create the file. It's created the file. Let's take that file, Control X. I'll keep my file here. I already had a file, I'll replace it. Now let's hear what's inside the file. The file, basically whatever I had here, this is inside the file. That's what it is telling. Now I just need to say, I just need to see that if we can transform this audio into a text. So to do that, let's test this API. So this is my localhost 9292 port, and I'll be calling this endpoint API v1 audio to text through Whisper. So this is my endpoint, and then it's a get call. If you see here, this is a get call, and I'm passing a file path. So I'm passing that file path here, and this is where my file is located at. So I'm going to pass this file path, which is test.mp3. Okay, so let's test now. Okay, so before doing that, let me run this application. Let me build it first because I made a small change. I build it. Now I need to run it. The application is coming up. Yeah, it started. If you see, application has started on 9292 port. Now I need to hit this call, means this endpoint, and see what happens. So I see it's waiting for response, it's doing something, and if you see, this is awesome, right? So it's basically whatever I created, means whatever there inside the audio, it's basically created a transcript of it. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out. Today we are diving into something super cool, how to turn audio into text using code. So that's what we learned today, how to transform an audio into text. This will be super useful in future, and we can do without using Whisper, which we'll be seeing in our next chapters, how to do in different ways. But this will be useful when we'll be creating some AI agent, or in agentic AI we need to uh, transform an audio into text. That's when this particular programming will be very useful. So if you like this video, please subscribe so I can keep doing new videos. And that's it for today. Thanks for staying with me till now. Have a nice day ahead.